This one's going to be a little different. This video is going to address people who claim that they don't have enough time to prep or to do better prepping. So let's say you work a 40-hour week. That's a full-time job. It's one full-time job. Now if you work two jobs, one full-time, one part-time, and you've got like 5 hours to yourself, for like sleeping and everything, then that's a little different. But if you work a full-time, one full-time job, 40 hours a week, and you say you don't have enough time to do anything, I don't know what your schedule is, but let's get into the hardcore math of everything. Now, there's 24 hours in a day, there's 7 days a week, which means there is 168 hours in one 7-day cycle. Let's say you work 40 hours a week. Well, that brings your 168 hour a week down to 128 hours after working 40 hours a week. So now you have 128 hours. But you need to sleep. We all need to sleep. Sleeping is part of the human deal. We all need to sleep. If we don't sleep for a certain amount of time, we could die. So let's say you get really good sleep. Let's say you do 8 hours of sleep every night. That's 56 hours a week. This sounds like a lot, actually, but it's 56 hours a week. So that brings down your 128 hours a week to 72 hours a week. That, guys, 72 hours a week. That is 2 hours extra than the federal government allows me to work. I'm only allowed to work 70 hours a week, and it kills me. I hate it. I wish I could do more. But that leaves you with 72 hours of waking free time. 72 hours you are awake and not at work, and you're only working a 40-hour week. So, guys, that's 32 hours more than you work. If you can't figure out how to do your, work with 72 hours of free time, and you can't put in time to prep in 72 hours, then something is wrong. If you can't figure it out, then it's time to start putting everything, like make a list of everything that you're doing. And yeah, that's 72 hours of absolute free time. I'm not saying, you're gonna have to use all 72 hours for prepping. That would be, that'd be ridiculous. And 72 hours a week, that's, you're gonna run into burnout real quick if you want to do it, use all 72 hours. But if you can't find even a few hours to prep, organize everything, figure out what you need to do with everything, then something is wrong. It's time to take a look at what all you're doing. If, make a list of everything that you do. Obviously, going to the grocery store, depending on where you live, that could be, up to an hour or longer one way to the grocery store. Yeah, I get it. That could bring, 2 hours to the grocery store and back, that could leave you down to 70 hours. And then, take an hour or two organizing everything, and then you still have plenty of free time to do whatever else you want. Maybe you're taking the kids to the park or something. Hey guys, it's still 72 hours. So, even taking 5 to 10 hours, well, no, I would say do a little more than that. Take, 15 to 20 of those 72 hours and dedicate that to prepping, because you are going to be so much better off if you organize everything. Take that time to organize everything. And make sure you've got, a system going down, You have a list of where everything is, what everything is, the dates on everything. That way you can rotate your preps. Now, obviously, if you've got a lot of canned food and it's, it expired last month, don't throw it away, because odds are that canned food is still going to be good to eat. Because food manufacturers or producers are required to put an expiration date on cans. Just because the expiration date says it expired last month doesn't mean that that can is going to be good for another year. If that's the case, whenever you're opening that can, do a sniff, do a sniff test on it, make sure it smells okay, and then do a taste test on it. If it tastes okay, then it should be good to go. But rotating your preps, using your older preps before they go bad, and then replacing them with the next preps. So like, let's say you get something right now, it goes into the pantry, and then you get something, a week from now, that goes behind that, so on and so forth. And then, whenever it's time that you're going to use those, use the oldest preps first, and then bring the next one to the front of the shelf, so on and so forth. Rotate your preps, use the older stuff first, and then make sure you still have that stockpile of prep. So like, it's, start rotating it out. Like if you've got like 6 months to a year's worth of preps, start rotating it out after when you have that amount of preps, if you know what I mean. But back to the whole time thing. Even if you're like me, where you're working up to 14 hours a day, that's still 10 hours of off time that I have. And if I want to sleep 7 to 8 hours, that leaves me 2 to 3 hours of free time for myself that I'm not sleeping. So I still have a little bit of time to prep, even on the truck. So keep that in mind. No matter your situation, even if you're like me, where you're working, it's you're work. You're constantly doing something, and you only got a couple of hours of free time. You still have a couple of hours of time to prep. So please don't use the whole "I don't have time to prep" excuse, because that's what it is. It's just an excuse. And if this video isn't directed at you, maybe you know somebody that says that they don't have time to prep. Maybe give this video, show this video to them, and be like, no, actually, you do have time to prep. Now, obviously, everybody's situation is a little different. I'm not saying 100% of preppers has 72 hours of free time. I don't know what your situation is, but I do know there's a lot of people out there that have 72 hours of free time. They're just sitting on the couch watching TV, creating a crater in the couch because that's all they do is sit there, watch TV. Maybe they got popcorn in the couch cushions that's a year old, because that's all they do. Then again, I don't think that would really be the typical prepper, but then again, I could be wrong. There could be people who claim to be preppers who sit on the couch for 50 to 60 hours a day watching TV that weigh 400 pounds. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be right. Anyways, this video's gone on way too long. You'll have a good one. Like and subscribe, share the video, especially to those who say, I don't have time to prep.